Hello, welcome everyone. This is another live stream where I open the records and you can ask me any questions that you're having. I have a couple of pre-made questions, so that's going to be very beautiful. I also have one of my founding members here live, and maybe more will join us. Because just after this Q&A, we will go into a very powerful discernment workshop that I have been preparing together with the records. It's going to be very beautiful. If you would love to join that or watch that workshop, feel free to find the link in the description. And for the rest, I'm just ready to answer questions. At the moment, I'm opened my personal records. I open every time something different. This time I opened my personal records and it has a new prayer. It has a new way of connection that came through 2 days ago. And I'm very excited to share that. It is a prayer that is linked with the cosmic heart. So that sounds really good. And I'm at the moment channeling a book about the cosmic heart. And at the end of the last chapter that I channeled, this prayer came true, and I used this prayer to connect today. So I'm very excited what comes through. Hello, Saina. Welcome to the live stream. I see you. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Let's go. So I have a couple of pre-posted question. So that's gonna be very beautiful. And I have also here my founding members live on the Zoom. So that's also gonna be very beautiful. Welcome. If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand so that I can see. And then I can let you know when it's a good time to mute. So a question that came through was from the beautiful Shatai, and I have to quickly look it up. It was a question that I really want to know too. So let me go back to my notes because I just opened the records and yeah, here it is. So this is the first question, a pre-sent question. And that is, what is the most beautiful question humanity has forgotten to ask? So like, wow, what a powerful question. So I would love to start with that one. And I'm very curious what they're going to say. Maybe I should also open the records of humankind. Let me ask that. Yes. Okay. I'm going to open the records of humankind real quick and then we go. Because I can do this from my personal space, but I think this is a question better asked immediately to the records of humankind. So let me do that. With love and light, I hereby open the Akashic Records of humankind using the prayer of the cosmic heart. Okay. Dear record keepers, I have here a question. What is the most beautiful question humanity has forgotten how to ask? Dear one, we value your question greatly. There are many questions that have been forgotten. So to name one, would be to only give you a very small subset of the full answer we wish to give you. So let's allow us to give a little context before we give a couple of questions that most humans are not asking or have forgotten how to ask. The context is the following. Humanity is at the moment in great change. Your Earth is at the moment in great change. A lot of humans start feeling overwhelmed or being ungrounded and are noticing that life is really inviting them to change on a deep level. But instead of placing the power back into their being and into their heart, they are asking questions most of the time outside of them and outside of their power. Why does this happening to me? Why does the world not work the way I want to? Why am I always finding myself in these gnarly situations? And as you well know, asking these kind of questions might seem like a natural reaction out of the emotional state, but is one of the most perpetual questions that will keep you in a state of overwhelm, anxiety, victimhood, among other low frequency emotions. We don't want you to be in these emotions any longer. And part of the reason humans are asking these questions is because they have forgotten how powerful their questions truly are. So with that context being sketched, the first question would be directed to your ability to ask questions. Many humans will not ask this themselves, but you will receive great answers in doing so. Here is the first question we want to give you. Dear Earth, dear life, dear spirit, can you teach me how I can fully tap into my ability to ask great questions? How can I fully tap into my ability to ask great questions? Now you will notice that insights will appear immediately or in the next coming of days based on you asking this question. And part of that answer might be a very obvious phenomena where it shows you which questions you have been currently asking, but all of a sudden you become aware that these questions are not serving you any longer. So when you have tapped into the ability to ask great questions, here are a couple more that humanity are not asking themselves. Dear energy field, can you harmonize my being? Can you harmonize my being? And can you fill up every energy center so that it reaches its most ideal equilibrium? Can you fill up each of my energy centers so that it reaches its most ideal equilibrium? What we mean with that is the following. humans are asking many questions that only distorts their energy field more. So a great counter to that behavior, which is highly inappropriate if you see it from our lens of reality, the counter question would be, how can I harmonize my field? Or can you help me harmonize my field? And you will notice that immediately subtle energy shifts will start appearing. And next to that harmonization, which almost nobody asks, is the filling up of the energy centers, especially when you feel tired, underactive, or overactive in your body or mind. Because your energy centers are not necessarily the greatest when they are the fullest. Every one of your energy center has a healthy equilibrium. Just like the temperature of your body. When it's too low, it's not good. When it's too high, it's not good. But when it's in its equilibrium, you feel healthy. That same phenomena goes through the energy centers. They can be underactive or overactive. And by the second sub-question we just proposed, you allow yourself to let your energy field do the work for you. And partly this will be happening completely subconsciously. And partly sudden ideas will come up in your field that will greatly help you, greatly assist you. Like, for example, a sudden urge to dance and listen to loud music. A sudden urge to take a dive in the sea. A sudden urge to call a friend and go for a walk. These urges can be part of the answer. Don't always expect that answers come word by word inside of your field. That's only for some beings the case. But many will receive answers just by being aware of their current moment after asking a question and seeing all their input as possible answers to their questions. Beautiful. Those are big questions that almost no human asks. And then a question that a lot of humans start asking, especially when they start awakening, which definitely puts them on a journey, is who am I? Or what am I? This is a great question, especially to start knowing yourself. And this can be seen as an infinite question. Because every time you ask it, another part of your being will get known to your current awareness. But because you are infinite in your depth and in your expression, different parts will keep showing up. And more of yourself you will start knowing. So this is not a question that most humans have forgotten, especially when the awakened state has been achieved. This becomes profound and a question that is in the right front and center. But what most humans that ask that question are forgetting to ask is that they're not just a being to be a being. What we mean with that is being is amazing. Being in the state of being is, yes, the most profound and primary state. But you didn't incarnate here just to be. You can be in a lot of other dimensions just by being. You came here also to create. You came here also to share. And you came here also to contribute to life, society, or your Mother Earth. So instead of only asking who am I or what am I, which increases the ability to know yourself, we would love to add, what am I here to create? Or what would my soul love to create right now? This increases your ability to become the creator. And in so doing, you are fulfilling one of your divine aspects you came here to fulfill. Most human beings are here to create. Not all of them as artists, but definitely all of them as creators. Creators in the biggest sense of the word. And then there are many humans that love to know themselves, maybe love to create, but they lack sharing. So another question we would love to add is, to whom do I share right now? Or to whom can I share right now? Who is waiting for my sharings and my gifts right now? Who can I serve? And who is here to receive my servings and my service? These questions are sometimes being asked in business contexts, but are never asked just from being human. While in your reality, you're not just here to be, you're also here to create, and you're also here to share your gifts, your character, your abilities, and your creations. So, we would love to add that. And there are many more of such questions. Every time you would ask us this question, we probably can come up with a couple different ones, because humanity has forgotten a lot. Partly by design, partly by stubbornness, partly by ignorance, and partly by a veil that is slowly lifting itself from your planet. But by directing your questions to the desired states of being, and by directing your questions to harmony, to creation, to contribution, and to being, you will start to receive answers quite rapidly in your field, especially if you take your ability and remember your ability to ask questions and use it with great care and joy. Thank you for your question, dear one. Wow. That was beautiful. I love that. So my incense went off, so I'm gonna light my incense and I'm gonna quickly check. How are you? I have here, is there anyone here in the Zoom room that would love to ask a question? Feel free to raise your hand and unmute you. That will be amazing. If not, I will do the questions from the chat. So I see Saina asked something beautiful, or multiple beautiful things. I see also Idilka raised her hand. So Idilka, feel free to open your mic and let's see if we can make sure I can also put you in the screen. I think so. Yes. How are you, dear?
Hey, I'm very happy, very tired, and very happy. Beautiful. Because this is like recharging the battery. I'm very surprised about the chakras, the harmonious interrelationship of the chakras. And my question is to fulfill when I need the most I less know what to ask for help. And it's like, help me. But if I fall, I would extend my hand. And if you're passing by, you can just pull my hand and help me stand up. Sometimes people can offer, even though I don't pull my hand. But, it's very obvious I fell. But sometimes I just feel like paralyzed and don't know how to ask for help. Because sometimes it's not that I fell. It's like, oh, I need a help in this kind of download, let's say in the computer science. Oh, Phil, I'm downloading a work about this, and I don't know how to download it with this app. Can you help me? That is concrete.
Yes.
But if I tell you, as I have done before, hey, help me, I don't know what to do. You don't know what do I need, of what do I intend?
Yeah.
So how can you help me if I don't ask you? And when I need the most, I don't know how to ask for help.
So your question is, when I need it the most, I don't know how to ask for help. So how do I ask for help in such situations? Yeah?
Yes,
Beautiful.
exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you for your question. Let's dive in. This is a beautiful observation, and we love that you bring this up because many more can relate. When emotions are high, especially in states of panic or fear or desperation, it becomes very hard for the mind to be clear and to move into a state of asking a clear question. So, this is of very great observation, and we would love to say a couple of different things based on this state. First of all, the feelings that you are feeling are most of the time not realistic to the situation present. What that means is, and it's just good to notice at the back of your head, even though the emotions will overtake this knowing, it's good to know that most of the time in such a state, if you are able to look objectively at the situation, nothing really is being wrong. You're still safe. You're not in real danger. You just feel like you're in real danger. You're nothing is truly happening. It just feels like that. And that comes because these states are amplified from two different sources. One source is the unprocessed emotions, most of the time when you were a child, that come up stronger. So the current situation reminds you of the situation when you were 3 years old, for example. And because when you were 3 years old, this emotion completely overwhelmed you, now that same overwhelm and intensity comes back as what they call in psychology an emotional trigger. Another source is the collective. It might be your ancestor lines, it might be just the collective energy field that holds certain fears, anxiety, or others. And in the same fashion, as soon as the current situation of you reminds you or is associated with a fear or emotion that is held in the collective energy, you might take more of that energy inside of you. You almost become a vessel of that energy to run through you. And so there are some energy workers that experience great emotion for no reason. And that is because they are processing not just for themselves, but they are processing for the ones that are not able to process. And so they're doing a great service, even though the situation they put themselves in is greatly intense. So the first question that you might always ask yourself is, dear mind, dear spirit, can you help me see the current situation objectively? That means if the emotions were not there, what is truly happening? You might receive such a state, for example, when there is a mail that comes inside of your mailbox, and the mailbox is about a very high bill that you were not expecting. All of a sudden, great emotions of panic might come and overwhelm, and how am I gonna do this? And almost like an impossible situation just presented itself. And all these emotions flood up in your field. But the first question you might want to ask is, can you help me see this situation objectively? Why? Because objectively, you're safe inside of your house looking at a piece of paper. There's nothing unsafe about that. There is nothing panicky about that. And there you see clearly the difference with what is objectively happening and what is emotionally happening. If you are able to see yourself just sitting inside of a room, everything is safe. At this moment, nothing has to be paid. It's just a reminder. And you're just looking at a little piece of paper with some text on it. You can relax. And you can breathe a little bit more. If that is not available to you and emotions keep on taking over, we ask you to breathe instead of asking questions. And you are in the right place because we have prepared a workshop just after this session that is exactly about this topic. So because you are in the founding members of this academy, you will immediately receive access just after this live stream. But to already give you an answer now, whenever emotions are high, it is not the time to make a decision. It is not the time to ask a clear question. The first priority is to breathe, to say to your body, everything is okay. To say to your body, I feel your reaction, but I am safe right now. I feel your intensity, but we are all right now. Let yourself first calm down before the asking for help and who to ask it to can become clear. Or solutions can come into your mind that would not be able to come into your mind when you are in this heightened state. So it's just really good to notice, oh, I am in a heightened state of emotion. Let me first calm down before I do anything else. And this is so much easier said than done. We understand that part of your mind is resisting this advice, saying that that is not possible, but it is. The only reason that that is not possible is that you're still remembering the helplessness you had when you experienced these same emotions when you were a lot younger. But you are older, you are wiser. Sometimes the heightened emotions, looking from a distance on top of it, you might see how childlike they are. It's just a remembrance of how the child felt, and the child had no way out. But you are so developed right now. You are so advanced. You know so many things. But before these things can come into your field, the childlike, intense reaction needs to be parented. In the moment the reaction happened itself, there might not have been a parent available. But right now, there is a parent available. And that parent is your own consciousness. So, to the best of your ability, this is what we advise. Whenever you are in a heightened state of emotion, notice that you are in a heightened state of emotion. See if you can draw a circle around the heightened state of emotion. And know that beyond that circle, there is always your consciousness holding you, embracing you. Try from your consciousness to talk back to the heightened state, soothingly, with calming words, with encouraging words, with safety, with love, with acceptance, saying it's all right. You are able to react right now, but everything is okay. Let the emotion flow, but know that you are safe, that you are held. This, just a couple minutes of this, will already calm down the system greatly. And whenever your system comes to a state of calm, then is the right moment to introduce a question or to remember the knowledge that you already have gathered. It is so much easier said than done, like we just expressed, but it is futile to want a solution in the middle of that heightened emotion. Whenever there is a heightened emotion, don't seek for a solution, seek for calm, seek for peace, seek for soothing energy. And the solutions will come naturally back into your field while the emotion has flown out of you. We hope this helps, dear one. And we also understand, before we complete it, we understand that when you are in such a state, you want to get out. You want to get out of that state as soon as possible. And it seems counterintuitive to stay in the state and calm it, to stay in the state and be your own parent and let the state flow by. But if you want to choose out of the panic, you might only make the situation worse, or you might create a karmic loop, which only loops that situation until the next time it arises in your life. And it will loop again, and it will loop again, and it will loop again, up until you see for what it is really is. You see the situation for what it is truly is. And that is, there is a heightened reaction. When the heightened reaction is being soothed, you will be freed from the karmic loops and be freed from making the situation worse. And in so doing, this calm state will bring all that you need, request, and desire. It requires a little bit of self-mastery, but you are more than capable of doing so. You just need to remember how powerful you are. Thank you. That's a beautiful question. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Wow. So, I see somebody is asking to increase the volume. Let me see if I can increase the volume. Am I soft on your end? I am also asking my Zoom people. Yeah, I see. At the moment, I cannot increase the volume. I can talk a little bit louder, and if you can, maybe on your device, it's already maximum. I try to use a different microphone right now, and this is the highest it's currently able to. So my apology for that.
I hear you well.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's good.
We do here at Zoom.
Beautiful. So on Zoom, they hear me through the same microphone as well. All right. So it might be your device settings, but you probably already checked that. So this is at the moment the highest it can go. I will talk loudly for you, Mary. Thank you for giving that feedback. Okay. I don't see any hands raised on the Zoom, so let me go into the chat where Saina asks quite a question. So I have to read it. A question I have been pondering over is my mind and heart being at odds with each other, my heart sensing an underlying energy of something feeling off, not right, with a mentor, and an energy work and a triangle field he suggested to create with myself and other person. And I've been feeling extremely resistant to this and asked to pause for a week to tune in what's alive for me, which was met with frustration and urgency to decide now or dissolve the triangle. Oof, that feels like a lot of pressure to me. But my mind is in resistance of my heart's questioning and is repeating what it's being told. Of why am I resisting? What's wrong? I should listen to him. He is spiritual and has taught me a lot. Why am I doubting him or his intention? I'm being ungrateful. So my question is, beautiful. Thank you for sketching that picture. So beautifully written. What do I do when there is dissonance between the mind and the heart, when I know my heart senses so much more than my mind can perceive? Can the heart act out of fear? Wow. Oof. Beautiful question. So thank you for that. And one of the things that I would love to say is, the records just mentioned it too. I prepared today a discernment workshop. It's exactly about this. It's exactly about how can we listen. In the workshop, we go through 8 different ways to listen to other fields of reality. So we're next to our minds and maybe our hearts. There are the heart is one. So there are 7 more ways we can listen to reality in things we might have not thought about. And that is what I'm currently using to discern what is good for me and what is not. And it has guided me on a path that makes it always very clear what is good for me and what is not. So I think discernment is one of the skills humanity currently is learning or needs to learn, partly because of AI and because of all the fake information that is so easy to create right now. So it's forced on us, but it's a beautiful skill to have anyway. So let's just learn it, right? Let's just learn discernment. And that could be perfectly on this too. That can be perfectly able to, especially in such situations like, hey, this person I trust and this person gave me a lot of advice, but this advice just doesn't seem good to me. Let me ask this, let me ask that, and you have 8 different ways and probably more, but I in the workshop, we will focus on 8 different discernment techniques that you can use all on top of each other to create a really awesome answer. With all of that being said, I would love to go to the records and answer your question. So thank you for it. Let me ask it again. What do I do when there is dissonance between the mind and the heart, when I know my heart senses so much more than my mind can perceive? Can the heart act out of fear? Hmm. Dear Saina, we thank you so much for this question. These moments happen a lot in human life, and it's one of the reasons we are instructing this channel to write books, to do videos and workshops on this topic, because it is needed. It's a well needed skill. Even and especially spiritual teachers also need to take care of their energy a lot. Because the more light you become, the more darkness can attract to you. So, a really great question to ask, and this doesn't have to be his fault per se, it might just be that he needs to be more careful with his energy, like every awakened person needs to be. But it might be that when he was giving you the advice, he was enveloped himself with a dark entity, and so the advice that came through was of low frequency influence. And that can happen all the time. There's nothing to be afraid of there, but it's just great. And you, in your own being, in your own heart, can ask this question. Does this advice come from the highest light? Or does this advice come from a low frequency energy? Easy yes or no question. And because you know different ways to answer yes or no questions, we would love to let it be asked to your heart, to be let it asked to your subconscious mind, to be let it asked to your intuition, to your knowing. Because there are two different forms of resistance, and that is another thing we would love to ask you a question about. When it comes to resistance, there can be resistance because it's actually a higher reality of yours, and so your current self holds back because it feels unsafe, while the reality you are going to actually is like expansion for you. But there is also resistance simply because it is not good for you at all, and there is just an avoidance. Both of these can feel quite similar. So, next to the first question, another question we would love to let you be asked to your field is this: is the resistance that I feel because this lets me step into a higher reality that is unknown to me? Or is this resistance because this option or opportunity is simply not for my highest good and I should move away? I should find distance. By another yes or no question like this, you can already be a lot wiser. Now, before we completely leave you with these two questions, we would love to quickly tune into what we are able to feel through this channel and your connection with this channel, to see if we can scan your field, A true scan is only available when we have permission, but let's do that not in a public live stream. Let's do that in a personal setting. For now, we will just scan you through your collective field through this channel. Here is what we feel. We feel that the resistance that is present is very present in the mind. It completely pressures your thinking and your mind, but it has a very large sting that moves through the throat into your heart space. What that means is that your thinking is not necessarily clouded, but pressured. Your thinking is pressured. Your communication, as soon as you want to open your mouth and share about it, especially to the persons it goes through, starts to become blocked, and it stings in the heart. And so, almost like a dagger inside of the heart. And so, because of this, what we would love to say to you, if this resonates with you, is the following. Make sure your heart is free and remove any energy that is currently stinging it. Warm your throat by singing, talking, humming, and let it be opened by the vibrations you can create with your voice. Next to that, connect with your own truth above all other truths. And finally, you can make your thinking clear and less pressured by just saying to your mind and to your energy field, can you please remove the pressure from my mind? I would love to think clearly about this topic. And then ask yes or no questions specifically to your own body about what we just said. Where does the resistance come from? Where does the advice come from? Where does the pressure come from? Dissect different aspects of the situation, and by yes or no questions on each of the different aspects, you will form a clear picture in your mind. And you will notice the pressure will move away in doing so. After all of this, your decision will be clear, and you will know if you should continue. Thank you for asking your question, dear one. We are so grateful, and this is applicable to a lot others out there. To conclude, whenever somebody is spiritual, it doesn't mean he has the truth. In reality, every person here has its own perception of truth and reality. And so, it is always really good to listen to resonance. You will feel a resonance when you are actively engaged with something or someone. All of a sudden, a topic grabs you and you seem to just want to absorb it. And this resonance stays until your body has absorbed enough, and then it starts resonating to different frequencies. A person might lift you up to a certain degree, but then becomes out of resonance because your path needs to learn a different thing. with resonance, you can start to truly walk a path of developing your own truth. We will always point you to your own truth. Even the channelings that we do is just our perspective translated into human language. But we will never say that that is more true than your own ability to perceive truth. And therefore, we always point you back to your own ability to see truth. Whenever somebody is not giving you the ability to perceive your own truth, in our opinion, that is a red flag. And you always have the power to say, hold on a moment. It's not about anyone else but my own journey, my own path, and my own truth. And I have the right and the ability to take a step back and to breathe and to see if this is something truly serving for me. Are you feeling how powerful that is? Every great spiritual teacher, but also every great salesman, every great person that is in some way or form in service to you, needs to respect this ability, this power of you. If this is not respected, we are not saying these persons are bad, but we are saying they currently come from a state where they are not there for the highest service of you, but they are in their own self-service, which is automatically of a lower frequency. Become aware of this. Higher frequency knows it is completely taken care of and is here to serve others. Lower frequency is not believing it is taken care of and will always choose themselves before someone else. That's why in the great book, The Law of One, there is a service being distinguished between service to self and service to others. Both paths has their pros and cons, but know that service to others always is vibrating at higher frequency than service to self. We are complete. Thank you, dear one, for your question. Wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I would love to take a little break because we're going into this discernment workshop. So I would love to say thank you to all of you. Carolyn, I see your question and you have priority because you're in the community. You also have the ability to join us live, but maybe you're not in a state to do so. But at the moment, I feel our time, I need to complete this and take a little break before we go into the workshop. So just to quickly show you, if you want to join this workshop, I can quickly show my screen. Am I showing my screen? Let me check if I'm showing my screen. Yes, I'm showing my screen. I'm not showing my screen on Zoom. You're already in the community. You have found your way. So this is the community, and when you join, you come into the classroom, and you see here immediately you see live Q&A. So, and there is a classroom here with a lot of beautiful things. There's also a calendar here, and you see here that we're currently in the live Q&A. And after that, right now, on top of the hour, we go into the discernment workshop. So I want to go there with the community. I want to thank everyone that joined me live. on YouTube or here in Zoom, thank you for being here. It's so beautiful to, your questions are amazing. And yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. The answers that come through, I loved it. I would love to do this every week or every other week, depending on a lot of different things. So thank you. I greatly appreciate you. Let me also go to back to my. Yes, I greatly appreciate you. Let us go into the discernment workshop, because like also in the questions, how powerful is it to discern? How powerful is it to always know, not just from your mind or maybe from your heart, but from 8 different sources that you always have access to make the right choice? I believe it's so good to do so. So I think it's almost it's a power that we have forgotten, but we always had here. But it's also a superpower. So with that being said, let's take a little break. For everyone who's in the community, come join us. Come join the discernment workshop. And for everyone who is not ready for that yet, I wish you such a beautiful day. I wish you thank you so much. The questions that are in the chat, I will put them in a list for next time. So I will, if there are no questions that time, I will answer your questions then. Okay,